You're looking live as we really throw this together at the last minute. Welcome back to the IFS podcast. I am half your host tonight, Bearcat or Bill. Hold on, let me crack this open. Oh, that's a good sound. I'll tell you what, crowlers never sound quite as good. I'm joined once again by my good friend, Ed Grohl. Ed, say hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm glad to see the bill's been upgraded to half from a quarter. That's really good tonight.
Nice.
And also here, let's do this.
Oh, you got a nice pop on that one.
Well, all right.
So we have a beer I've now had before from a brewery that we have been watching closely. We did have one beer from them. It is West Palm Brewery and Wine Vault, and we were able to get a couple of crowlers from them, all the way from the Gulf Coast, I believe, of Florida. Florida Brewer on Twitter is Joel Codner, and he was a guest on our last podcast. And right now, that's currently in editing, and hopefully, if the stars align, that will be in your feed real soon. If you're joining us right now, please say hello in the live chat. Let us know what you're drinking tonight. And I'm going to jump right in. I don't want to talk anymore. I want to drink this.
Where are you at and what you hauling? Woo! Well, the beer looks every bit a blonde ale. I mean, it definitely has the look. Thank you also for the glassware. Joel is very nice to us, but this looks great. Tastes great. Smells great.
Yeah. I'm hearing that there's no video out there, so let's hope. Ooh, that's weird. Why don't you talk about Joel a little bit while I check that?
Well, Joel was brewing at another local brewery down there and got the offer, which we will go into on the actual recorded podcast, where I guess the ad for a brewer was definitely eccentric, and he really didn't think that he had any business getting the job. And he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to try and apply for this. And it just had all this wacky stuff in there. And they brought him in. And I guess the process was like he had to do Skype interviews and in-person interviews and, any interview you can think of. And he eventually landed the job, which is great for him. And it's now a very, I don't want to say hip, I guess, but it's in a hip part of town, and the brewery's just taken off. It's a brew pub, and they have like really, really great food, and everything's just taken off for them. And it's kind of like one of those things where sometimes you get the feeling that he almost was like, oh my God, this is, it's kind of going really fast, but he's not trying to reinvent the wheel. He's not doing all these New England style IPAs. He kind of fights against the man on a lot of stuff, and he's doing beers that his public likes and that are very good. And that's why I'm glad we're getting to taste it all the way from Florida tonight. It's really cool. And he's such a frank and he has such good candor. It's a really good guy to talk to. And I hope everyone tunes in for that one once I stop dragging my ass and get that actually out there and edited. So,
yeah, we're in the last stages of editing. I'm hearing the stream is not real good. We might have to restart this. Although, if you're in the chat, if you can let us know how it's going, please do. I'm hearing now from Nicole, hello. That's a little bit better. If the stream goes bad, just let us know in the chat. But
yeah, we can always restart.
We can always restart. We were kind enough to get a really nice glass here. I love these little short tulips, and that's the nice logo on there. Dave, Easy Pretzel, knows literally everyone. So he had obviously a mule truck these up to us here in PA. And man, we had the brown ale a couple days ago. Ed and I split the crowler of that. And it was as fine a brown ale as I've ever had. It was, I think, really great in its restraint and simplicity. It was well constructed, a really good brown ale. And I was excited that you can get just a standard, example of a brown ale. I thought it was great. It just was really good. It was exceptional in its I think simplicity.
Stole the words right out of my mouth. It was very good, and it's a style that I feel is kind of shunned in this day of trying to make the next great thing, and you forget sometimes your roots. The first beer I ever homebrewed with two of my buddies up on Allison Hill here in Harrisburg was a brown ale, and it we thought it turned out really great for a first homebrew, and we weren't embarrassed to give our friends or anything. And it's really neat to see, that one of the beers he wanted to share with us was a brown ale. Yeah, who would do that? Somebody. It's funny to watch everyone try to hang their dicks out at homebrew competitions and all this stuff, and he's like, "Here's a brown ale, try this," and you're just like, "This is amazing. It's so good because it's so simple and it just works." And trying to go back to that simplistic style of just brewing and 3-week type stuff, really good, and can't compliment him enough on that. It was really well done.
Yeah, and we've used the term simple a couple of times. I don't want that to be considered derogatory. It was highly approachable. It was an easy to drink, but I think that to like refine a style like that and to hone it in to be as true to style as possible and to have it be that properly executed is a good hallmark of a great brewer. I talk about them all the time, but I had the Fest beer down at Trogs, Scratch 319, which, where it is, we might see that in the fall anthology. It was so good. I was so happy with it. I thought it was such an exceptional, you know, great ale. It just worked so well, and I was really enjoying it, and I was really happy to have it. It was crisp, it was clean, and it wasn't fussy. And I wanted to sit there and drink it all day. I'm excited to go back to our roots.
And you made a good point. When I say simple, I don't mean, oh, it's a dumbed down beer. What I mean is anyone who comes up on these New England style IPAs, giant double IPAs, and that's what you started brewing on, and that's what you're doing. That's great, but go back and try to brew a regular brown ale, like just a brown ale that's got good malts and good chocolate and good, notes to it. It's so tough to put the horse back in the barn after you've gone to this hoppy thing. And I think that's where a lot of brewers go, and they don't know how to go back to these simple styles. I would challenge a lot of some of these places that open to go back and to try an ESB, like really try. It's really tough to go back and do that if you learned on, like I learned guitar on chords. Going back and trying to learn actual, pentatonic scale and stuff, very difficult. I apply the same thing to brewing. If you were brought up on all these big IPAs or big stouts, and then you try and go back and do like traditional English style or even German style beers, it's really, really tough to do. And I think he nailed it with the one that we had the other day. I was very impressed.
I was too, and I'm a little early in on this B4 blonde, but I think this is another good example. This is a classic style within craft beer. I think this is a style that as a brewer, you're expected to be able to do well for me to have you well regarded. And I think, early on here, it's really nailing the style. It's not, I'm not picking up any of the alcohol, any of the bitterness, any of the stringency of the alcohol. It's got just a little bit of a hop character, but it's very approachable. The bitterness is not aggressive. It's a little bit bready in the nose, which I really like. So far, it's been really nice.
Yeah, and it's not overdoing it to like a Belgian. It's not falling over that Belgian cliff where you're getting too much of the breadiness in it, which some people really, really enjoy, but then you have to back end it with a lot of different yeasts and everything. This is crystal clear and definitely something that would be a great, hey, I'm going to this place, I'm gonna have a meal. I could have two of these beers. It's really good for what it is. It's amazing.
Yeah, the breadiness is more in the nose for me. I feel like in the palate, it's really light. It's very effervescent, and the esters are very fruity, and but without all that clovey weirdness that sometimes this can get, where it transitions from being a blonde to just being a Belgian. Sometimes I feel like they try to go for this, and then they end up with something a lot deeper, richer, and it becomes like a double or a triple. This is really light. It it's incredibly clear. If and the camera's not really doing it quite justice. It's only got a slight haze to it. Um, the bubbles are dead on. I think a blonde ale's got to be really effervescent, and they got to be tiny, compact bubbles, and it's got to have the uh, the carbonation's got to have a little bit of bite to it when you first take it in, and this does.
I think one of the testaments to doing a traditional style beer like this and nailing it is the fact that we are speaking way too many words to describe it than should be. Like this should just be, this is a great blonde ale, nails the malts, nails the hops, nails the carbonation, and that's it. And we're trying to find the words because I think sometimes we get so far out into the ether of, oh well, it's, we have to taste 18 hops, and they've done all this stuff. Sometimes when you go back to basics, it's tough to describe because you've been off the high dive and now you have to go back to the low dive. And not saying that this is a low beer. This is a very, very good beer. But I think sometimes people forget that these are great style beers, and this is really, really good. I think he nailed everything. The carbonation's great. The hop balance in it is great. The malt profile is spot on. I have no problems with this, and I could definitely see myself sitting at the bar down there and just going nuts with it.
Yeah, yep, I agree. I think this is a great beer. I think it's well constructed. I'm really enjoying it. I give it high marks. I thank Joel for making beers like this and being committed to them. I think that there's a place that exists for these beers. And I think that place is a lot has a lot more seats at it than some people would suggest.
Yeah, look at and blonde ales are supposed to look like this. It just amazing, really, really good stuff. Carbonation, even that it traveled, still spot on. He should be very proud of that. He did a great job on this. Really good.
Yeah. 2 for 2, and I think they're both home runs. And look, they're brand new. They're 3 months old, and he's cranking out, I think, what are exceptional examples of these styles. And I wish him all the luck. Hey, to Joel, to you. Cheers.
Thank you, Joel, very much. This is really spot on and great.
So we will give this a rating. We will rate it. But before we do that, I want to go the complete opposite direction and talk about something that just drives me nuts right now. Brewers are putting beer into slushy machines. Have you seen this, Ed?
I know of it, but I'm sure you did more of a deep dive than I did.
I didn't do that deep of a dive because all I could think of is like people taking a beer and putting it into the Snoopy, slushy machine, and us being like, this is what craft beer is.
Like
now.
a Ninja or like an actual like Margaritaville slushy machine.
Yeah, they're making real slushy machines, and then
fuck off.
I
get if you want to do it with like a Miller Lite or like a Coors Light Lime or whatever the lime beers are. I get that. It's spring break. Woo! We're going down a slide, but please proceed though. I want to hear where this is going.
Yeah, so you have people putting beers and they're these stouts. They're the pastry stouts or the stouts that have a lot of cream in them and whatnot. and they're supposed to go towards the this ice creamy flavors and all this stuff, and then they put them in a slushy machine, and like I thought we spent all this time trying to convince the bars to stop putting the glasses in the freezer so that when they poured the beer, uh, that it wouldn't be all slushy and frozen. And now we're actively making the beer slushy and frozen and putting them in the glasses. And it's just like, what, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we doing this to our beers?
Well, is it what are we doing, or is this just? I mean, what types of beers are they putting into these? I have to know. Is this a craft beer thing, or is it just?
Yeah, no, it's a craft beer thing. And oh, look, one of the people that's doing it is a brewer that I really respect, Omnipolo, who incredibly experimental, and I give him a lot of leeway. I mean, he puts cheeseburgers into a beer and French fries. Okay,
all right. I thought that was just saved for Bloody Marys, but I'll go with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's fucking crazy, and he's out there on the edge, and that's really great. But God damn it, I didn't say anything too much about the glitter in the beer because I was like, yeah, we're gonna move on from that. But this one this one really bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, I think my curiosity would peak if I saw beer slushies just to have one. But at the same time, I just think it's, again, you're not, oh God, you're not making beer better. You're making craft beer worse. It's the old Hank Hill.
Yeah, I think that I think what we're doing is there's been a grain of the line of what actually is beer for a long time. We talked briefly way back maybe on the old show about is beer becoming like too much like wine, or is there a winification of it, like, and that was a cultural issue, right? That was how the people were collecting it and trading it and storing it and selling it, and the prices were going through the roof, and that's all continued, but we kind of moved on from that as being maybe a way to describe it, talk about it. But now I think what we're doing is that people are trying to find some new edge, and maybe this is where craft beer is like art. Artists are always trying to find a new format, a new medium, a new way to express, and brewers, a lot of them are artists, and they treat it like an art. It's a science that has artistic properties to it for sure, but pressing these boundaries, it's reasonable for someone to look at it and go, is that still beer? Is it? I don't know. I think when you put it in a slushy machine, the answer is no.
Well, let me ask you this. So you made a point that you're still calling beer as art and trying to push the envelope, or is this like the music industry where music is pure and it's always going to be, fantastic, but are they just shoving, Katy Perry down your throat because that's what the people are just clicking on or whatever? It just seems to me a little contrived and just trying to, and I get that you're trying to think out of the box and trying to do something, but it seems very spring breaky to me to do a beer slushy. I don't know.
I think it's trying too hard. It's like we need.
Maybe that's what I was trying to say in a roundabout way, but yeah, it seems like, oh, hey, you know what the kids are doing today? We should do that, and it's like, oh boy.
Yeah. Look, you want to put Mad Dog 2020 in a slushy machine? How about it?
Banana Red, care. I'm in. Banana Red, I'm doing a fucking Banana Red slushy.
Banana Red. You're not gonna go with the kiwi strawberry?
Kiwi strawberry can suck it. It's Banana Red all the way.
It's been so long since I had a Mad Dog.
It's funny. I feel like that we are strangely foreshadowing what we're about to do on this podcast.
We should do a Mad Dog. Ugh.
Oh, no, not quite that far, but we're about to do something real stupid.
We're next episode, you mean?
whenever it is. We're about to do something real stupid.
So we're going to get to the second beer in a bit, but we both had to do different ones tonight. We were kind of hoping we were going to have the new Yingling, the blonde. No, it's not blonde. It's Pilsner, Golden Pilsner, right?
Yep.
Get the new Yingling Golden Pilsner on. It's coming out really soon. We were hoping to have a couple of 6-packs available to us because next episode we will be drinking the Yingling Golden Pilsner, and we're going to do a power hour. And you know what? We invite you at home to do a power hour with us.
We want everyone to do the power hour with us, and it's going to be the most hilariously dumb thing that's ever happened. Well, not on YouTube, but at least to our YouTube channel. How about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of dumb stuff on YouTube. I mean, you can watch Russian dash cam. That stuff's pretty dumb.
Literally, I got iced by bros, and this will be the dumbest thing that's ever happened.
That's right. We iced you on this channel.
Yeah. I love how Dave thinks that's not going to come back to him eventually.
Yeah.
He doesn't know when, but it
no,
will.
I don't think he's watching right now, so this should be good.
I had a real prime chance last weekend.
Yeah, you did. Speaking of people watching, and Dave probably not being one of them, if you're drinking along with us, let us know what you're having tonight. That being said, while you guys in the chat let us know what you're drinking, I'm gonna rate this beer. I'm gonna take a nice big pull of it real quick though. All right, so blonde ale, not something I get very often, but I would drink more of it if it was more frequently available. This one hits a lot of points for me. I think it's really true to style. I think it's very, very well made. The color on it is exceptional. The flavors are all right there. It's warmed up a little bit and it's opened up some more. Those esters are now really starting to play. And I think this is a very approachable beer. I think this is a beer that should be in the early repertoire of like anyone who's coming into craft beer. This is part of the I think the initiation that this is a style that you have to be able to recognize and understand. And I know a lot of people do not like blonde ales. I do. I like this beer. I'm going to give this one a 9. It's really good. I don't know if it's perfect because I think that for it to be perfect, I think someone with a more refined palate than me would have to decide that. And for me to stand here and say this is a 10, I can't do that. But I think it hits all the points, and because of that, I think it's great. I give it an 9.
Well, you stole a lot of words out of my mouth. This is clean as shit. This beer is amazingly clean. It has great carbonation, great color, and the style is spot on. It smells great. It hits all the buttons. I'm right there with you. I mean, this is one of the flagships you can hang a restaurant on, definitely. There's not one flavor in this beer that I would say is off. Even the water, that you can tell that they definitely at least treat the water, or they have good water down there. I don't know what they do personally, but this is really good. I'm going 8.5. I'm a half a point less than you, but if you want an exemplary example of what a blonde ale is, this is right there. This is very, very good.
Nice. All right. I'm going to crack open another crowler because it was sitting there in my fridge and it was ready to go. And what the hell am I doing tonight? I'm going to drink a lot of beer and I'm going to struggle tomorrow. And this one it's from Trogs. It's number 320, Scratch 320, Session IPA. And I picked this up last week and I've been waiting to crack into this one. And now it just seemed like a great time. The reason why I got a crowler of this to take home was because as far as beers look, this was the least Trogsy looking beer I've seen for a long time from them. This is a session IPA, and it is super fuzzy.
That
And
does look very untrogsy.
yeah, it is really, really hazy for them. And it's got, man, look at that head. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice and white, kind of rocky. And the nose on this is fantastic. Oh, wow, that smells good. Oh my God. Ooh, that's really good. What did you go with?
Well, I have poured a Veil. You're Derek Jeter. I mean, this is a double IPA, which everything they do basically is. They have the I'm Derek Jeter, which I haven't drank yet, but this was on the top, so I just pulled it out. I mean, this is every bit a Veil double or possibly triple IPA. I didn't read the label too much, but oof.
Yeah.
The hop profile in this thing is unreal.
Dave drank that on the episode that's coming out really soon.
Well, did he do I'm Derek Jeter or You're Derek Jeter?
Oh, there's two different ones?
Yes, there's I'm Derek Jeter and You're Derek Jeter.
I think he did the I'm Derek Jeter. You're doing the You're Derek?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great radio.
Triple IPA. Oh shit, 10.5.
Triple IPA. Good Lord. You're gonna be feeling that one.
So again, we're gonna have a conversation about marketing stuff, but either way, this is really good. It's beat your tongue over the face with hops. It really is good. I can't lie.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, this beer is 5.2%, 48 IBUs. It is made with Azteca, Centennial, Chinook, and Comet hops, and it is very juicy. It's not a Northeast IPA, but it's got a lot of pine, a lot of pineapple, and there's a little bit of pininess to it. It's got a really smooth texture. It's not creamy, but it's got a certain velvetiness and creaminess to it a little bit. It's not pillowy like a Northeast style IPA, but damn it, it's kind of sweet.
Would you say that might be their kind of, well, let's do a half step and see, because I know Dave put it in John's ear or whatever, but
yeah, he did.
We cannot live in a world where they do a New England IPA.
If they do New England IPA, it will be impossible to live.
I'm literally moving to, I don't even know, Nebraska.
Yeah, I can't. It'll be sad because the podcast will be over. Because he'll be impossible to live with, and that'll be a sad day. But
he's already impossible to live with because he's in San Diego right now. That looks like a great beer, though. Like camera wise, yeah,
it is. It is really, really good. I saw some people drinking this. Now I'll tell you that there was a Trogs employee who was drinking the fest beer, and I had one of those too, and we were talking about it. And I just saw this beer. I didn't try it there. And I asked him if he had one, and he said no. And I took that to almost mean like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to. He was kind of like, wow, I can't believe that we're making a beer that looks like that.
It is quite against their usual MO.
Yeah, this is going against the grain. I mean, we thought that that Nimble Giant was someone taking the car keys and stealing mom and dad's Cadillac, but this is really that.
That's awesome. I hope to get some. That's I can't wait to get out there and try it.
It's got a lot of body. It's got a lot of body for 5%. I think it's interesting that they label this as a session IPA, even though it's 5%. I guess it's not 6, so I don't know.
Again, a lot of people will fight you on that. It's supposed to be like I want to say it's 4 or 4.3% and less is a sessionable beer,
Yeah,
according to the guidelines. But I guess if anything under 6 now, you're just like session, and people are like, oh, sweet.
well, I think that ABV inflation is kind of like grade inflation at the Ivy Leagues. Everyone's getting an A. I think 7% is a multi beer for me. I can sit there and drink a 6-pack of Nugget Nectar like it's nothing. You give me a 4% beer and it's just like, okay, well, I guess I'll just have a couple of these and not worry about it. 5%, 5%. Just I'm not sure it's session. I'm not sure it's just kind of no man's land. I don't know.
I mean, if you ask the purists, they would tell you 4 and under.
4.5. Yeah.
4.5. Yeah. So,
4.5.
I mean, you're talking ESBs, Pater's beers, beers like that, which that's why it annoyed, which we haven't had to talk about in like almost a year because the marketing thing has gotten away from this session. All day, it used to be session IPA. Now it's just all day IPA. People are getting away from that. Thank God. It was so stupid.
Yeah, you really were not a fan of the session.
It's just the marketing bullshit behind it. It was so stupid.
Yeah. I really like this. I am really liking this. The nose on it's a little bit muted. I think it could probably bring a little bit more to the party. But the flavors on it are just dead on. I'm not getting any of those earthy notes that you can sometimes get from Centennial and Chinook and even maybe Comet. But and there's no spiciness that sometimes comes along with Asuka, in my opinion. A little bit of like a.
What about the Trogs grain or yeast strain? You getting any of that, or is it independent from all that? Because sometimes I feel like I can taste a Trogs beer that's a different style, but I can taste that it's Trogs beer.
No, this is very different. The malt
that's really interesting. Actually, that's great.
Yeah, the malt is Pilsner wheat and Vienna. I think the wheat's probably what's throwing me off a little bit.
Oh, Pilsner wheat and Vienna.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
So I think it's the wheat that's throwing it off a little bit.
Wheat and oats, just like same as in a bourbon. When they throw some wheat into a bourbon, it just gives it that smooth, really good stuff. That's great.
Yep. All right. Okay. Changing gears a little bit right here. So you hooked me up with a whole bunch of stickers. And so we're going to add another sticker to the sticker board. And is the IFS sticker board here. And this week's sticker is from Stouts and Stilettos. And here is why. We mentioned last week on the podcast that we have a live show coming. And here I can't get the sticker off the backing. This is great. Why is all this stuff so hard for me?
I just like all listeners know Bill can't even get a sticker off. That's
I come on the show and I can't open a beer. Okay, there we go. Put it right there in the middle. Right there. Okay, so Tierney from Stouts and Stilettos is joining us for a live event with Greg from Untapped and Jeff Kupko, a local craft beer celebrity, though not local for all that much longer. And we're doing a panel at Startup Harrisburg. If you go to the Harrisburg Beer Week webpage, you can find us. It's taking place on August 21st. We have 50 tickets. They're $10. All the money goes.
It's not August 21st.
Oh,
April 21st. We call that 1st August. You fall motherfucker.
April 21st, August. I'm so bad. April 21st. Join us April 21st down at Startup Harrisburg. $10, free beer. $10. You're gonna get free beer. You get to donate to a good cause. You get to listen to me, totally fuck up a conversation with some very smart people. Ed promises to have some new jokes. Dave will tell you why I'm wrong.
Oh wait, I have to have new jokes. Oh shit.
Yeah, no, you have to have new jokes. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'll have an open mic, and trust me, I'm going to be sitting on a stool by the wayside. But you guys get to ask all the educated jokes. I just got to roast everybody.
We need fresh jokes. Fresh jokes. Only the freshest.
Shit.
Freshest jokes. And I promise you, I promise everyone you'll have a good time. If you don't, I'll buy you a beer. All right. So come down and have a good time with us.
Yeah, I think for $10 and getting beer at the venue and just getting to hear Greg talk about how they built Untapped is going to be worth it. We hope to pack the house, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope to have some comedy. Maybe we can get a bit or two going, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to be on stage in front of at least 25 of our listeners and other people who want to come and listen to how to start a business. It's going to be a really cool thing, and I really hope everyone shows up.
Yeah. I have great faith that this will go off well and everyone's gonna have a really good time. We're also trying to hopefully set up a event afterwards with Untapped that would take place at a local bar, hopefully walking distance, and everyone can have a good time there right after we're done with the show. So for that, we're going to put a little Stouts and Slows because Tierney's going to be on the panel. If you don't know her website, check it out, stoutsandslows.com. And please join us. All right. So, Ed, I'm gonna throw it to you. You're going to give us a little more about that beer, and then we'll rate these, and I think we'll be wrapping it up there.
Let me unmute myself. So this is your Derek Jeter triple IPA, 10.5%. Looks, every bit as much as you would expect from a Veil beer, kind of bruised, kind of battered, but at the same time, when you drink it, you're like, it's really good. The hops just definitely work. It's really, really, really good. At the same time, it does have like a little bit of an off thing about it, but I would recommend this to anybody who's seeking out beers you can't get. It definitely is drinkable. Just be aware that it's 10.5% and enjoy it. It's really good. I'm giving this I'll give this an 8 out of 10.
There you go.
Measured against other Veil beers that we've had, I'm giving this an 8. Well, because some that we've had are just been crazy.
Good. All right. So, man, Trogs, Scratch, 320, Session IPA, and Hazy AF, as the kids would say, especially for a Trogs beer. This one's a little weird for me. I'm having a little bit of trouble kind of decide how I totally feel about it. I'm not sure how comfortable I am with Trogs going in this direction. Hey, experimentation's always great. I'm really excited about that. Are we gonna see beers that look like this from them all the time? I don't think so. I don't think there's a chance of that. But it's an interesting experiment they're doing, and maybe we'll see a few more of these from them.
You say that, but they've built a lot of their main beers off of Scratch beers. So,
a lot of them, but this is not going to be one of them, for a number of reasons. That being said, I really like it. I think this is, it's an easy drinking beer. I like a lot of the notes on it. It is juicy. It's got a nice mouthfeel to it. There's a certain fullness to it, but it's not a New England style IPA. It's just not quite there. This is just I don't think they're striving for that necessarily. I think they're just experimenting. And I like the way the wheat was incorporated into this. I think that really helps it out a lot. The nose is kind of muted, not a whole lot going on. In the end, I like it. I want more of it, but I don't want it to be a mainstay of Trogs. It's not really what I look to them for. I'm going to give it a 7. It's good.
I'm surprised you went that low. It seemed like you were very much in love with that beer.
I really like it. I do. But I'm going to finish this crowler, and I'm not necessarily going to buy another one. So, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this tonight, and then I'm gonna be done with it. All right, couple of questions that popped up on Twitter that fall under the hashtag beer chat, and I think these could be fun. Okay, so question 1. These are gonna come quick. Think back to pre-2010. That's kind of a loaded question for you, but I'm gonna try to keep it close to pre-2010 when I answer.
Okay,
this. You can. What was your go-to beer?
Shit, 2010, 2010. My go-to beer. Shit.
I can answer this while you think about it. I drank a lot of Hopback. I drank a ton of Trogs Pale Ale. I love the old Pale Ale. I drank a lot of Arrogant Bastard because I really like that big maltiness. But if I had to say what my go-to beer was, because I was hanging out in a lot of shitty bars for like back in, I'm talking like pre-2010. So like in 2006, 2007, I was drinking a lot of Labatt's. I think I was drinking a lot of Labatt's, which I'm not real proud of that.
I'm having a real tough time remembering back to 2010, but oh man, I would say that my go-to beer was probably at that point. Ooh, Jesus Christ. Probably Trogs Hopback still. I don't know why. If I always saw it back then, I would just go for it because I knew it was a safe haven. That was a good craft beer to go for. Man, I'm trying to think of what else that I was drinking. Oh, like a Rogue Dead Guy Ale, maybe. No, that's probably like 2003. Man, 2010. God, I hate this question.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
It really is.
Really is. It's hard to go back that far. Okay. What old school beer pulled you into craft beer? So I guess they're asking for like, what old school beer did you drink that was craft but like had been around for a long time? And the one I'm gonna have to go with is probably Chimay. Man, I can remember being really into Chimay for a period of time.
Jesus Christ, what neighborhood did you live in?
A single one.
So I would say my first foray into craft beer was Sam Adams. Definitely, because when I was in college, we wanted to throw a party where we got a keg of Sam Adams, and we got literally 15 guys to throw in, $8 on a keg. And we drove down to Vaughn's in Johnstown and got a $95 with deposit keg of Sam Adams, brought it back to the house, put it in the thing, and we all drank it for an entire weekend. I would say the beer that, other than drunken shenanigans, it would be Pete's Wicked Ale.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember that from 1997, 1998. Pete's Wicked Ale was probably the one that got us into, and I was buying the magazines, and we were looking into that, and it was just starting to hit, distributors. And this is before Coors bought them. Pete's Wicked Ale, Pete's Wicked Summer Brew, oh God, Dock Street was still making Illuminator back then. Dock Street Pale Ale. So I would say that those are the ones that really got me in. Oh, Spanish Peaks. Nobody remembers them. They had a dog on the label. They were from Colorado, and then they teamed up with Johnstown Brewing, and they had a raspberry wheat and just like a pale ale, and their stuff was by college standards, very good. That's the stuff we were doing in 1996, 97, 98. So there you go.
There you go. I came to craft beer when I was a little bit more well-heeled. My whole time in craft beer has been while I've been gainfully employed, and with a real career. So I will say this. I think Sam and Lamb's Oktoberfest, I can remember buying cases of that and being really, really happy with it. Really excited to get it. All right. Next and last question. I'm going to tweak this one a little bit. What beer do you think / hope will still be around in your glass in 10 years? And so, look, you can't answer 60-minute IPA because, look, that will be here in 10 years, right? So maybe it's one that you're drinking now and you go, is this still going to be here? That's a tough one.
That's a really weird question, and I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Yeah.
My initial weird reaction to that is Goose Island, the Bourbon County.
Oh, that's a good answer. Shit, that's a good answer.
I feel like that might get phased out just because they're owned by big business, and was it 10, 15 years from now? Why would they even do it if they own everything anyway?
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna play off that a little bit. I'm gonna go with either the Hop Stupid by Lagunitas or their Gnarly barley wine. And Hop Stupid is great because it's $4.99 if you find it at the right places, maybe $4.50 for a 22-ounce bomber. Bombers are going the way of the dodo, and so is the Gnarly barley wine, and that's like $8 for a really good barley wine in a bomber. And I have real concerns about the long-term viability of those beers in those 22-ounce, price to sell bombers.
My question will always be, will Natty Boh be available 20 years from now? That's all I need to know.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird because as long as Baltimore doesn't get wiped off the face of the earth, I think we're gonna be okay.
Oh, pending. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. Anything else for the good of the order?
I got nothing else.
All
this
right.
was a lot of fun.
This was. All right. Quick review. West Palm Brewery B4 Blonde. We both really liked it. The Scratch 320 Session IPA. I gave this a 7, but I really think you need to go check this one out at Trogs, just because they're trying something so different.
The presentation of the beer alone, you should go check that out.
Yeah, I mean, Trogs got my old school Nugget Nectar glass here. I love this thing. I think, God, this is crazy that they're making a beer that looks like this. I just can't quite wrap my head around it. And I think it's great. I think it's also probably for a limited time. So definitely go check that one out. And your second one was something Derek Jeter. Your Derek Jeter.
You hit it. Your Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know how they got past the censors with this one, but yeah, it's really, really good. It's a triple IPA. It's not one that you want to sit down and drink like for an entire evening, but if you can find one, definitely go get it.
All right. Hey, to everyone who was in the chat, thank you for, I know we kind of ignored you this week. I'm sorry about that. This was not, I was throwing this together really quick here this week. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. New one coming very, very soon. If you want to come see us live, join us on April 21st. I got the date right this time. If you're looking for a link, it'll be in the show notes right here.
I think during Beer Week, you might have 2 chances to see us live.
Right. If you're at the VIP event, you can see us there. And then also at the next day at Startup Harrisburg. You can follow me, Bearcat on Beer, on Twitter. Ed, what's yours?
At Ed Grohl, as in ED, Dave Grohl. Basically, that's it. And that we'll tell that story in another podcast.
Yeah, some other time we'll do that. And also, you can follow Easy Pretzel at Easy Pretzel, and you can follow the IFS podcast at IFS_podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast. And until next week, cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Thank you.